Welcome to another episode of GOV 101. I'm Jeff Knowles.
And I'm Marsha Hampton.
And today's topic, GMA.
Why do you do that now? Like every show that we're on, you like start and then you expect me to finish your words.
I don't know.
I mean, what is that?
I don't know.
Okay, just curious. Because usually I'm not prepared to finish. I'm just listening and I just respond to whatever it is you say. Not necessarily to finish your sentence.
Okay.
But
So
I'm
we're talking
Marsha
about...
Hampton. Did I say that
You
already?
did. You said your
Oh,
name.
okay.
And then I said we were talking about GMA.
Okay, what about
Not
GMA?
Good Morning America.
Really? I like that show.
I don't ever get a chance to watch it.
Well, usually that's my alarm to know you better get yourself in gear.
You got to be at work
In 15
shortly.
minutes, you got to be out of here.
So GMA is Georgia Municipal Association.
Yes. Do you know what they do?
No. Yes.
Are you going to say what they do?
Well, they do a lot.
Like?
It's an opportunity for cities, such as ourselves, to have economies of scale and be provided services like insurance, representation, through lobbying efforts in the state government, all kinds of things.
Training.
Training, yeah.
Which is a big one.
Is that big?
Yeah.
GMA does a big
I
training?
would say, I mean, not knowing the answer, but I would probably figure that training is probably well over 50% of what they do.
And then the other 49% is lobbying,
Probably
and then 1%
advocacy,
is like
yeah.
everything else.
Exactly.
Because they are a really important tool to cities across Georgia Municipal Association. They don't work outside of Georgia, right?
I guess if
Do
they
they ever-
did, it wouldn't be
Do
the
they
Georgia
work with other
Municipal.
municipal associations?
I think that they actually, there's probably some hierarchy of a municipal associations around the states, and they probably collaborate and talk about how things work. Actually, and I think I was part of a conversation with Paul Radford maybe a couple years ago when we were
Can we
talking.
flash a picture of Paul up? Sorry.
I'm pretty certain we can. And I think Paul's correct title is Deputy Director of the organization. And we were talking about downtown development, and Paul was talking about the different municipal associations, how they work with downtown development across the United States. And in some instances, right now where the Georgia Department of Community Affairs maintains our Main Street program, and a lot of municipal associations across the United States, Main Street is housed with their municipal association, which, you know, from a person who works and have worked in Main Street, there's some advantages to that because typically Main Streets are in cities. DCA just doesn't work with cities. So if you can kind of work that focus, I'm pretty certain in those states where that's located, it probably makes a lot of sense.
You think California has a municipal association?
I would think that California does. I know that they don't have many Main Street cities. That I know.
You think about it. That acronym across the United States can mean a lot of different things. It's not the Country Music Awards in California if they were to have one. It's not Good Morning America here in Georgia. That could be quite confusing.
Well, but isn't most things that involve government pretty confusing to those folks who are not involved in government?
When we use acronyms.
But I remember when I got to boot camp, probably third week, they give you a book of acronyms, and pretty much that's your Bible, because you speak a whole nother language.
Only when we use acronyms do we confuse people.
Yeah. But I don't think there's a training course that GMA offers on acronyms.
What kind of training courses do they offer?
A lot of things. Have you not been to any GMA trainings?
Nope.
Joyce Stone, our city clerk, has, because they offer clerks training.
Required by law.
Required by law. Now, why is that required? Do you know that?
Because clerks have a very particular, skill set, job requirements. There are a lot of laws that require us to do specific things, and the city clerk is the person who basically makes sure we're doing it that way.
Yeah. And city clerks, I do know, around the state of Georgia have a variety of functions. So some city clerks, I know in some cities, they do human resources. But that's where training becomes important.
It is.
Because you have to have the broad spectrum, and I think that that's where GMA becomes important, where they gather all the information from all the cities to be able to have one big palette to say, you know, one size doesn't fit all, but these are the tools that you need to do to utilize your job.
They also have education opportunities for our elected officials.
They do. And elected officials need a lot of training. on a continuous basis, and I think they actually are required to fulfill a number of hours of training.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they're required so much as they receive accolades or
They do.
recognition for the number of hours that they
Right.
do. They are required to take a newly elected officials course. I know
Right.
that.
Our city clerk keeps up with their training.
She does, and it's important. I mean, there's a lot of our elected officials and most elected officials in most municipalities throughout the United States, and not here in Georgia, that's not their full-time job.
No.
They didn't grow up thinking, you know what, I want to be a city councilman, and I'm going to go to school to learn how to do that.
And there is no college, trade school, vocational school, high school, anything where they teach you how to do that. Even what you consider political science does not teach you how to be an elected official.
Can't say it does.
Well, and the rules are different everywhere you go. And once again, going back to what GMA offers, if you have one umbrella organization that gathers all the information from all the cities, they can give you a clear idea or at least a roadmap of where to go and where not to go. One of the big things that they teach is ethics. So that's several of our council members, if not all of them, have taken ethics training, which is important because I think if you just look at politicians across the board, that's probably where they get in trouble most often.
Well, you only hear bad things.
Right.
I mean, anytime a politician's on, it's not about, oh, they did such a great job getting this bill passed. The news is out there for a reason, and it's to get ratings. And what gets ratings better than a scandal?
And yeah.
And that's, that's what GMA tries to help our elected officials as well as those throughout the state understand. So when does this training occur?
Well, I know they do training throughout the year. For instance, we mentioned Joyce Stone City Clerk's training. I think that's several times a year. They have training, of course, for our legal staff. That happens. They do Downtown Development Authority training. So when you look at all of the training that they provide for staff level and for elected officials, there are a variety that you can pick up all throughout the year. The biggie that we're probably talking about today is their annual convention that they do every year where, regardless if your government can afford to send you to training throughout the year, most governments send their staff to GMA. I want to say it's a couple thousand people that attend the annual conference. So it's big, and I worked the trade show a couple years ago and this year, and I met up with people from cities and communities that I have never heard of.
Really?
Yeah.
Like?
Well, like there was the town of I can't even think of the names. Like I didn't know where Bacon County was.
Oh, Bacon in the South.
Yeah, and I don't really know those things below Macon. I don't really know those towns.
Coffee.
I know Coffee County because that's Douglas.
Bacon's not far from Coffee.
So have you been to Bacon?
I have.
So what's in Bacon?
Nothing.
I mean, what would you assume that the size of the town was?
Population-wise?
Yeah.
Bacon County as a whole, 20,000 people.
Wow. That was actually far larger than I would assume.
What was it?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'm asking you. I'm pretty certain the producers of the show will come up with some number to say how far off we were.
Yeah.
But, they came up. I was
Probably
working.
750,000 people, and it's a metropolitan city in the southeast of Georgia.
Exactly.
Sorry, is it southeast or south? It's in the south.
I don't know where. I don't know much about anything south of Macon except Thomasville.
You can assume
Albany.
it's a farming community.
Just because of bacon?
No.
I was getting ready to say, they may not even have any pigs or hogs or pork in that town.
I was thinking soybean.
Because of bacon? How do you get soy from bacon?
It has nothing to do with anything. Just its general location in the south.
Are there even
of
any
Georgia.
towns in Georgia that develop soybeans?
Sure.
Like what town? What city?
Americas?
Soy? Oh, we're going to look that up. I think it's peanuts in Americas because of plains.
No, and they have peanuts too.
I don't think they're a big product.
I hunted in Americas when I was a young man, and they had
12 years old?
soybeans. 13 maybe.
One row of soybeans.
No, it was an entire, as far as I
we'll-
could see, soybeans.
We'll get the producers to look that up.
They'll look it up.
Yeah, but
But you meet a lot of towns.
you meet a lot of towns. I work the Georgia Downtown Association booth. So many people came to see me, came to talk about downtown issues. Many of the folks that came to see me didn't have a downtown. Some of them, I mean, there were communities that came up to me and said, the DDA swindled all of our money. I mean, just a variety of things that I'm thinking, really, I can't help you with those issues. But it's interesting to see the people, where they come from. A lot of people bring their families. That's probably surprising that as local
wait a
government
minute.
leaders, they can bring their families.
Where's it located?
In
Where's
Savannah.
Why wouldn't you take your family to Savannah?
Right, during
a
the
beautiful
summer.
town.
During the summer.
It is warm.
So, and there are good giveaways at the trade show. Your staff is at the trade show and all around GMA.
They are,
And why is that?
because they film.
And why is that?
Because GMA has recognized that City TV is the premier PEG channel in the state of Georgia.
Really?
It's all because of the people.
They did something very cool this year. They were live streaming. People were looking at, I could see people when I'm walking around the trade show, they had their cell phones and they saw that it was live streaming. That was actually pretty cool.
It's very cool.
I mean, we're really cutting edge.
We're out there.
We're good. I think everybody needs to know how good we are.
City TV.
It's awesome.
So
We're taking a break.
we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what GMA does for us. Welcome,
back.
Welcome back.
So now we need to talk about some of the other stuff.
That GMA does.
Yes.
Not just host the greatest conference on the planet. I hear there's another group.
AC, what is it? ACCG, whatever. What is it?
They're nowhere near as cool as GMA, so we won't even talk about them. But they have another conference in Savannah.
So does that organization also provide just as much service to counties?
They provide a lot.
Okay.
So we'd be remiss in not at least mentioning that there is a sister organization for our county brethren.
And they work together.
And they do, from time to time, work together. We see representatives from GMA and ACCG oftentimes giving out information about legislative updates and things of that nature.
And I think that's key, and that's probably one way to start off with some other things that GMA does, specifically on the lobbying. So when there are issues that the state capitol decides that they either want to change, make changes to, sometimes they're not in the best interest of cities.
Sometimes they're not.
So that's where GMA
steps
in?
That is where GMA steps in and provides a lobbying effort that we can't provide.
Correct.
We can't send a representative down to the state capitol every single day of the session to make sure that the city of Douglasville isn't going to have a bill passed that is going to be detrimental to our existence.
Right. And sometimes state legislators, they just don't know. They're not at the local level. And sometimes some of the things, depending upon where you are in the state, you develop an issue,
Right.
and it may be great for you,
Right.
but not necessarily great for the masses.
And again, there's not a class or school or a degree
Right.
to become a politician.
No, there's not.
And like you said, oftentimes we've even been to our legislative delegation and mentioned a problem that we were having and would like for them to address, and we've been told, luckily, that our legislators realize this. That sounds like a local issue, and you guys really need to deal with it on a local level.
Right.
But that's not oftentimes. I mean, that's not the case all of the time.
Right, correct.
And that's why lobbying groups are very important to basically provide that education to those state legislators while they're in session, to be able to give them the information so that they can process what they're hearing with all of the facts.
Right. And they hear from everyone. So
Right.
that's why they're key. It's that one-stop place for all of local government.
Yeah.
Now, what about insurance, benefits, and all that good stuff?
I kind of opened the show with that they provide opportunities for economies of scale. We have a really great competitive insurance that I would say is as good as pretty much any place you could get with employee numbers as high as 2,000.
Yeah, because we have a mass buying power.
We
Because
do.
we combine all of those folks who participate in that program together. Very similar to a huge corporation.
How many employees would you say are represented by GMA
Gosh.
health insurance opportunities?
I couldn't fathom to guess. I mean, there are cities that do not participate in the
20,000?
GMA.
That sounds like a good number.
No, I think that's pretty low.
Really? Higher than
that's
that?
low? Well, I mean,
Really?
Georgia has a lot of cities, but that doesn't mean that they all can afford to participate.
Or all participate. We know not all cities participate.
But, okay, say like a city, okay, we have a little less than 300 employees.
But the city of Atlanta,
But do they
they
participate
got like
in GMA?
1,500 employees.
But do they participate in GMA?
I don't know.
I don't know. They probably are too big. They probably have their own like specialized something. You know, Atlanta's kind of like Savannah. They're all out there on an island on their own. You know, they kind of have, you know, weapons and tools that are far beyond our reach.
Okay.
You know, we just don't.
Take somebody our size then.
Okay, many of the cities of Norcross, Duluth, some of those metro cities that are very similar to our size.
Say they're about 200-300 employees.
Yeah, so maybe your 20,000 number is close. We'd have to get the producers to verify that as well. I'm thinking it's a little higher, but I could be wrong.
Well, I was way off on the bacon population, so
Yeah, wait until that one pops up.
wait till that one pops up. I was way off.
Yeah. So that's training, insurance. We've covered lobbying. What else do they do?
I don't know. What else do they do?
They do special event and advocacy type stuff, like when they did the Georgia City's bus tour. City TV came along with that the year that I went. I guess that's been,
They stopped here in Douglasville one time.
they did stop here in Douglasville. Part of that is to show developers, folks in the banking industry, why it's important for downtown. So that's part of that advocating to those across Georgia, why certain things when it comes to local government and cities are important. I know they do like charitable work, Mayor's Motorcade, I think that's part of it. And they also, they have a foundation where they give away loan
Scholarships.
funding.
And scholarships,
And
too.
scholarships, correct. So there's a variety of things, and I'm pretty certain we're leaving some stuff out, but City TV can probably put up like a little scroll that scrolls up all the things and
Yeah,
show
no,
from Marcia.
I'm sure there's a list that we're totally not even coming close, but
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
probably should have researched this a
for
little
the-
bit, you think?
no, that's what we have producers for.
Oh,
and the
'cause we
great
just wing it.
And the great thing about it is it's a small organization.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you add all the membership that's associated with that
Right.
organization, it becomes a big organization.
And it's not really paid membership. If you think about that,
We don't pay anything for that.
not that I know of.
We're going to have to fact check that.
I don't think that we pay to be part of GMA.
Well,
I
we
think
pay for
because
the
we're a
insu-
city.
But the insurance and you have to pay for that.
Well, you have to pay for some of those services.
But there's not you're saying there's not a membership
Correct.
fee.
Like if you wanted research information, so if you were a city that did not get your group insurance through GMA, but you do participate in the trainings. Now you pay a cost to participate in those trainings. Say you wanted one of their staffers to come in and talk to you about, we're doing loss negotiations, to sit down and counsel your staff on how to deal in loss negotiations. I don't think you pay for that. I think that they would come out because you are a city and do those at no cost.
They are really
That's,
good
I mean,
people.
that's huge.
They
That's
are-
a huge
they are-
benefit for any city.
They are great too when they come out and provide those trainings.
Right.
We've had Paul out on a number of occasions
Mm-hmm.
giving us some great information. Is there an HR component associated with GMA?
There is an
We
HR
left them
component.
out.
And we get grants.
Yes. I was just thinking. We
Ouch.
just recently had a training.
Maybe we should invite Fred Perry to kind of talk about that.
They said we can't have 3 people on the show anymore.
Why?
I don't know.
Who said that?
The producers. The producers.
Okay.
I saw them behind the bright lights and
They're
saw a
saying-
hand go up.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, if we could have had Fred Perry on here, he could have told us how he gets those health grants.
Right.
Because,
It's like $10,000 a year.
yeah, that's how we do our health fair. That's how every year they make a quote unquote certain statement about my weight every year at that health fair. Yeah, whatever. Body fat measurement. You can make a comment. I won't get mad. Say it.
I,
Go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever. My point is...
They always prick my finger.
So you always have high cholesterol.
I do not have high cholesterol.
They do. Every time you leave away from that, you say you have like some kind of ailment.
No, I do not. They said I was the epitome of health.
They did not say that.
They did. That's exactly what they said.
Did they say that this past year or in previous years?
Every year I've ever been.
Oh, you have not said that. There's no way.
My cholesterol always says low, L-O, on that little machine. I personally...
HDL, LDL.
No, they don't
You're
do that.
misreading the
They don't do
information.
that. They don't do HDL and LDL.
What do they do?
They just do a general screening for your cholesterol. Did you take the cholesterol screening?
I did. I just don't remember. I just know that they gave me a juice box and said my sugar was low. And I couldn't move until I drank some juice.
Wow.
But that's all provided through GMA.
It is. Not necessarily. We use the money to
Correct.
do our... Yes.
So they can tell me my sugar was low.
So they can tell you that your sugar was low that day.
Don't get up. I'm always having some issues. You know, and it's not really GMA. I got an issue with maybe the healthcare provider that comes out to help us do it. I think they have it rigged against me. They see me walk through the door. Oh, we're going to get her. Something's wrong with her.
I'm sure they do. They totally pick you out of the crowd. I do understand that you were at GMA this year.
Yes.
And you did a couple of interviews. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to that.
Just really one interview.
One interview with a guy that was of similar stature as myself.
Did you have to use the word statue?
Stature.
What's stature?
Stature. Yes.
I was thinking statue. Look at Jeff put himself in
5'9", 165 pounds. You know what? We'll take the cardboard cutout next time.
No, they actually had cardboard cutouts there. They did, and you could carry like certain people around.
But not of me. Oh, sorry, Jason. I hit my microphone.
Okay, but why would they have you?
Why wouldn't they have me?
Okay. I went out as we closed this program to search for a replacement. Because as people know, sometimes it's difficult doing this show with you.
Really?
Yeah, your head's gotten bigger and bigger, so sometimes you can't really fit in the screen. So I wanted somebody that could actually share the spotlight with me and not overpower it
Really?
I did. So I went out and...
How'd that work out?
Great.
Well, I'm here now.
It's okay. But great interview. So when the folks see it, they can be the judge and determine whether or not you need to be replaced.
We'll let the people decide.
We will.
All right, go ahead and send in your votes. Be sure to vote for Jeff Knowles. I don't know who this other guy is.
Jeff 2.0.
No, let's not call him
No.
that.
That's what we call him.
I don't think that's his name. I don't even think he would appreciate that.
Actually, he would.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, you'll see. When you see the interview, you will see. Everybody will decide.
Okay.
All right. We're done.
We'll be right back.
I'm Marsha Hampton, and welcome to another episode of Gov 101. I have with me my co-host,
Jeff Knowles. Nice to meet you.
You know, I had to go all the way to Savannah to find a replacement for Jeff. Don't know where he is, but I think...
Yeah, I'm the new and improved Jeff Knowles, and I'm just here to talk with Marsha today about downtown development and local government. Anything else she needs, I'm actually probably better than the old Jeff Knowles.
I think you are, because, you know, the topic that we're going to talk about today is training, and how training is very important to local elected officials, local staff members, so how we can be of better service to our community.
Well, you know, speaking of training, I've never seen the real Jeff Knowles at a training, which may...
Good point.
Yeah, which may, you know, tell you a lot of things, why a lot of things go wrong. But anyway, I really am a big supporter of training. I think everyone needs to be educated in the field that they work in, especially when it comes to downtown development or city governments, because there's so many moving pieces that you have to know what you're doing.
Right. So what are some of the training sessions that you're taking advantage of here in Savannah?
Well, in Savannah, I was actually on the Downtown Development Authority practitioners panel, just talking about a lot of what our community's doing, ways that we can make downtown better, and ways we can work with the local government to make all that happen.
Well, I know that Georgia Downtown Association, I served on the board for a while. You're an up and rising, soon-to-be president in a couple years. There is a training. We hosted it in Douglasville back in 2008, so some of our viewers in Douglasville will remember when we hosted that. That training's coming up in August?
Yeah, August in LaGrange, the 22nd through the 24th. It's going to be a great training. Lots of different classes, ranging from beautifying your downtown to host an event. You name it. If it's in the field of downtown development, it's happening.
Well, our local Main Street manager, Stephanie Elworth, is on the board. She serves with you, so downtown is in good hands. You know, Jeff, I mean, it's just been a pleasure this time around hosting the show with you. I just, man, the difference is huge.
I don't know. I think we have a natural chemistry.
I do.
I don't know what the deal with the old Jeff Knowles, but I feel I'm a better Jeff Knowles, and I've never even met the guy.
I mean, I do. I mean, this is an opportunity that, man, I just, gosh, this is great. I mean, I've actually been allowed to speak and to talk, and I think that our audience will appreciate this interview.
Yeah, and I'm moving to Douglasville soon.
Okay.
So I'd be needing the address of the original Jeff Knowles.
Okay.
And then anything else you can provide me with, his vehicle, anything like that, it'd be great.
Okay. Well, we'll take a break, and since you said you're going to be moving to Douglasville, we have some special guests. We want to bring them in so that the folks in Douglasville can get familiar with who all's coming. I think this is just great.
Great. Thank you.
All right. All right, well, we're back with Jeff Knowles, part 2. And we have 2 special guests here who have been dying all day to get on TV. And since you're moving to Douglasville, can you introduce these folks?
Yeah, this is Taylor Lohman, and this is Ty Lohman, also known as Mohawk.
They are the children of Tommy Lohman from
Yes.
Blackshear, but since you're Jeff Knowles,
Yes, I'm Jeff Knowles, so I have no relation to these children.
none whatsoever. So if you can just tell us, we've been talking about training, we've been talking about downtown. If you guys can tell us what's great about downtown.
Well, the park.
The park?
Yeah, I like the park
Why do you like the park?
because it's got a bunch of fun stuff there.
Fun stuff? Now, what does your dad do in downtown?
He goes to a bunch of meetings. He's the Better Hometown Manager. Yep.
That sounds pretty good. All right. And your take? What's great about downtown?
I like the activities we do,
What kind of activities?
like Summer in the City and the Pecan Festival and things like that.
Pecan Festival.
Yeah.
So what goes on at the Pecan Festival?
Well, there's like, you celebrate the Pecan Festival, yeah.
So can you tell us what your dad does?
He's the Better Hometown Manager, and he does go to a lot of meetings, and he puts together a lot of the activities and stuff, and he's just kind of everything, you know.
He's awesome.
He is awesome. He is awesome.
He's okay.
Well, I want to thank Tommy Lohman from Blackshear. And can you tell folks in Douglasville where Blackshear is located, not to be confused with Lake Blackshear?
Yeah, not to be confused with Lake Blackshear. Blackshear is close to Brunswick, between Brunswick and Waycross.
Yeah.
So Blackshear is a small town, and it's going to be sad when I leave and come to Douglasville. But I think I'm going to like my new life as Jeff. It's going to be nice.
Well, I'm telling you,
I've had a great time.
I have, and I will thoroughly enjoy you as the new Jeff Knowles. I can't wait for the move. Folks in Douglasville, you guys really are getting, I mean, just a step up. It's going to be great.
And can I get us out of here?
You can.
Everybody, say goodbye to Jeff.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye, Jeff. We're back.
Okay.
What'd you think?
We'll be back next time with another. Actually, I'll be back next time. Marshall will be back next time. So I don't think it's a matter of selecting anybody in particular. I don't get paid for this job.
I just thought it was a nice alternative.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
Okay.
I'll be in particular rare form next time we film GOV 101.
All right.
And I'm Jeff Knowles.
I'm Marsha Hampton.
See you next time.